Okay, I've taken out the garboards and I've made the keel, done the rabbet, and the next step is to get out the second round so I have room to clamp the garboards after I steam them. I've taken out all of the nails here, and I realize that in a lot of places the planks are glued on. I've managed to be successful in some of the spots. Back here it got a little ugly, but that plank is going to get changed anyway. I had to kind of hack it out because the glue is stronger than the wood. There's my device pattern. And this side I've got the second round out. Up here I've got a block. This will give me the position of where to put the garboard when I'm changing that. But where it's glued, the laps, I mean, eventually somebody's going to have to figure this out because I usually glue the laps together too. I don't use 5200. I use something that's a little easier to get apart. But where this is really stuck together, I've been using this bar. I mean, in a original plank, it goes pretty well, but then eventually it gets to the point where it's stuck. So what I've been using is this vibrating tool. I just get the blade going and put it on the highest speed, and then it use the side of it. And I think the heat kind of breaks down the glue. But anyway, this is I'm here getting ready to make the new garboards. What I've done is I've just laid the old planks on here, checking to make sure that they're going to cover the rabbet on the new keel, which looks okay. Back here where the device is, I mean, even though it's got a big wad of goo here where it was sealing the old thing, I've got my plywood device pattern under here, so I'm using this to verify the fit of the new planks when I make them. I'll just trace these planks onto the new stock, but keeping in mind what's happening here with this plank being a bit too wide, I'm not going to get scientific about it, but I'm just going to be mindful of the fact that this plank is a bit too wide. It could probably stand to be a little bit skinnier. At the back it's probably okay, but I'm just looking at the spacing of the planks here. Sometimes if you're not paying attention, the planks, you can wind up here with a skinny one, a wider one, and a really wide one. So I'm going to try and get them all about the same. So that's looking okay. As far as along the rabbet here, I think I'll just take these off and trace them and just do a little correcting with a batten when I'm making the new planks. I've got the back garboard here. I thought I'd show a shot of this is what happens when you don't get the boat to fit the device right in the first place. You can see here where there's a shim on top of the shim where somebody finished the boat and then was putting the device in. I thought, oh crap. So anyway, that's why I've come up with my plywood device. The material here is all vertical grain Western red cedar. Commands a bit of a premium, but I think it's worth it. The grain on cedar, the flat sawn isn't as attractive as vertical grain. And the other thing is most of the gravets were planked with vertical grain material, so if you put a flat sawn board in or a plank, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. There is a bit of variation in the color here, but I'm already a bit of a two-legged locust at the lumberyard, so I can't go through the color. The color you don't really know until you've got the rough lumber home and planed it, and then the color comes out. The other thing that happens with cedar is it changes color after a couple of years. Some people stain it. I try not to. Initially, there's a bit of variation in the color and it changes, but anyway, this is the old plank laid on top of the new stock. And I don't know whether I can tell here or not. If I go down a bit, there's about how much twist is in the plank, and this is already straightened out a bit. So the garboards definitely have to be steamed. So I'm just going to make up all 4 planks and get them ready for the steam box. I've got enough material here to do it. I usually start off with 8/4 material, which is 2 inches thick. When they sell it to you, they say it's 2 inches thick, but it's actually 1 3/4 inches. And then by the time you plane it, it's just a little under 1 3/4 inches. So I can get 3 planks out of a 2-inch thickness, which is less waste than getting 1 plank out of 1-inch thickness. With the cypress, I can buy 5/4, which is the most efficient, because with 5/4 material, which is 1 1/4 inches, I can resaw it and plane it down to 3/8 planking. But anyway, I'm just going to lay out the 4 planks, and then I'll get them ready to steam and clamp on the boat. I've had the old plank on here, and what I did is I traced a few marks along the edges. I didn't draw a solid line though. What I'm going to do is I've got a batten on here. I'm going to clamp the batten along here. The bottom edge, I'm just going to make it a little bit skinnier, keeping an eye on the marks. The top edge, I'm going to keep it about the same. Got my batten clamped on here. These are the marks I made from the old plank. I'm just doing it by eye. I'm not taking a lot off, but the other thing with the batten, I'm just trying to make sure that it's a nice fair curve. So I'm going to trace that. I'll do the same on the other side, and then do the next 3 planks, and I'll get ready to steam them. Back planks on, just putting in the front ones here. I've got the planks roughly fitted. I just clamp them on to get the twist in them. I'll let them set here for a couple of days. And then after they've taken the set from the steam, I will make the shims up that goes under the garboards here up to the engine bed. And I've just got the planks overlapping now, but I will cut the scarf and then fasten them onto the keel. Back here on Intrepid, and just making the shims that go into the garboards here. On Gravetzi's shims, they go full length. This is the engine bed here. They go from the engine bed all the way to the back of the device. Here I've got my plywood device pattern, and there is a bit of shape in the back of this shim. I find if you get this all fitting right, and then clamp it down with the plank, when I install the planks, I'll just coat the whole thing in 3M 5200 and make a really strong structure underneath the device. On the port carling boats, it was just a short shim, and then at the front there was another little shim at the front of the engine room. So I'm just going to get these this side clamped down, and then I'll probably go to the other side. The other side I've already finished. I've just got the planks clamped in place here. I'll just clamp the port side down, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to install this side. This is all been fitted. It's all ready to go. I almost forgot. I've got to install a couple of cut wires. There's stop wires at the intersection of the keel and the garboard. This is just a dowel, so if this joint eventually loosens up from swelling and contraction over the years, this and the water starts running up this crack here, this peg will swell up and stop the leak. So I just didn't want to forget that, so I'm just going to do that now. We got the first strake of the garboard on one side done. Up here where the shim is, I've got it pretty well troweled a bunch of 3M5200 on it, and I've clamped the plank down. That way there's going to be no voids between the shim and the plank. We'll also make the plank very stiff in this area. Where I've fastened it with screws, I've just fastened it between the ribs. When I'm finished and I have the boat right side up, I have a feeling I'm going to be changing a few of these ribs. And the existing ones that are there, I'm also going to put a copper rivet right through the plank and the rib. So I've got a bit of squeeze out here, which is good. Means I've got enough on here and not a lot of voids. But I'll wait until it's tacked up, probably tomorrow, and I'll just clean it up with a scraper. I find that when it's wet, if you try and clean it up too much, it just smears and makes a real mess.